If you are wondering whether you should move to a new city or a new country, then after this video, you are definitely going to have your answer, because I have moved places so many times. And today I want to share with you all the pros and the cons of relocating. When I was 19, I moved to Australia. I stayed there for 7 years. Then I moved back to Germany, but not to the city where I come from, but to my grandparents to the south. I stayed there for about 6 months, then moved to Italy for a couple of months. Afterwards, I went to England for about a year and a half. And after England, I went back to Germany, but this time back to my hometown where I have stayed since. And later this year, I'm actually going to be moving from Hamburg to Munich, so it never gets boring, and I will keep you guys updated on how that all went. Let's look at the pros first. Number 1, you come out of your bubble. When you're traveling, you really see the world from so many different angles. You meet people from all over the world with different backgrounds, different cultures, different ideas and different opinions. Whereas often, if we just stay in the same place, we are surrounded by the same ideas that we grew up with, and often we don't really break out of those ideas. And I really have found that getting to know so many different ways of living has made me so much more accepting, smarter and open overall. So for that, I'm very grateful that my mindset is so much more open than it probably would be if I had stayed in the same city all my life. Number 2, it gives you courage. When you pack up all your belongings and you move to a new country or a new city, there is a certain amount of courage that is already needed just to do that. But it's not just that, because when you come to that new place, time and time again, you are going to have to do things that are going to make you very uncomfortable. You are going to have to organize things yourself that maybe in your home country you would have had help with. You are going to have to meet new people. You are going to have to get into so many environments that are not familiar to you, and doing this again and again and again can be really scary, but after a while you become so used to it. So courage, I would say, is just one of those skills that is almost built into people that have traveled a lot, because you have no other option than to be courageous if you really want to get to know a new place. And this point I find quite amazing, because it does help you a lot with overcoming fears in general. Let's move on to point number 3. The experiences are priceless. This one makes me smile so much, because honestly, everything that I have experienced in all these countries and cities makes me so happy. I am so grateful that I am never ever going to look back onto my life and wonder if I could have experienced more. It's inevitable to meet new people, to go to new places, to discover new hobbies, and there's just so much that can happen, especially if you really immerse yourself into a new place. And it is really incredible to have all those things that you can share and to know that you lived through all of that. And this is definitely one of my biggest pros for moving abroad. Number 4, learning a new language. The language that I'm recording this video in right now is not the language that I grew up with. In fact, until I was 19, I did not speak anywhere near English as well as I'm doing today. And I really think that it is amazing for your brain to speak another language as if it was your own. In the beginning, when I arrived in Australia, it was so difficult, because especially there, people speak very fast and they have a different accent than the ones that we used to learn in school. So I'm gonna be honest with you, about 60 to 70% of what people would say to me, I would have not a clue. And I remember it being so difficult, because you try to be that person that you are in your own language, but it's impossible, because if you don't know the words to express yourself the way you want to, then you can't really be who you are. Plus, speaking another language this well obviously gives you a lot of really great job opportunities, which no matter whether you're going to stay in that country or move back to your country or even go to a complete new place afterwards, is definitely going to help you. Those were the good things about moving abroad. However, let's move on to the things that are not going to be as nice. Number 1, your family is not going to be close by. This one gets me a little bit teary. If you have been on my channel for a while, you know exactly why. If you're new here, my mom passed away about 3 years ago. And so after I moved out when I was 19, I never lived close to her as an adult. And I don't regret moving. Maybe just a tiny bit of me does. But there's always going to be a part of me that is going to wonder how it would have been if I had been home and if I had gotten all this time and memories with her. Because yes, you do make amazing memories and experiences with new people, but you don't get to make those experiences with your family. And that is honestly one of the biggest trade-offs about moving. And obviously, I'm praying that nothing like what happened to me is ever going to happen to you. But you do realize that everybody, especially grandparents and your parents, they are getting older without you being there for every step of it. And even when I was away, that was something that was always really difficult. And it really breaks you a little bit inside all the time. Towards the end, it got harder and harder, and I was crying a lot just because I wanted to be with them so badly. And the other tiny regret I have as well is that I moved away when my little brother was only 13. So I wasn't really there for the most important years of his teenage life. And it's time that you just cannot reverse. So you are going to have to be okay with missing incredibly important parts about your family's life. Number 2, it can feel very lonely. Yes, you gain a lot of courage by starting everything from zero, but what you also have to remember is that it can feel so lonely at times because you're in a place where you don't know anybody. Sometimes it can be difficult to get yourself out there and to really get to know people and to make new friends. And oftentimes, at least that's how it was in Sydney, there's a lot of other people that are traveling too. So if you crave connections that are long lasting, that can be a really difficult part. I would say that it took me about 2 years to really find a few friends that I'm still talking to today, but that was also through places where I would study because I would go to university. And I know that for people that may not be studying, that are just working, let's say in hospitality or in places that are very international, chances are very high that you are going to meet people who are not going to stay forever. And this is, I know, what I struggled with the most in the beginning. Even when I came back to Hamburg, I felt the same thing again, because now I had all my friends in other parts of the world, like England and Australia, for example. And again, it took me about 2 years now to really find those solid friendships again. Let's move on to number 3. Starting from zero with everything. It's not just the people that you're going to have to find all over again, but it's everything. You're going to have to find a new job, you're going to have to find a new home, you have to get used to all the places around you like supermarkets, bars, restaurants. And while that's incredibly exciting, on the other side, it can also be a little bit exhausting. Because while it may seem not as big of a deal, we are creatures of habit. And as you may know, you have your favorite places where you live. You have all your favorite people, you have your favorite place where you go to eat, you have the gym that you know, you have your hairdresser, and so forth. There's so many little things that we wouldn't even think about, but they are incredibly important to us. And to redo that all over again is quite big of a deal, actually. Because when you're leaving again, you're going to have to do that same thing all over. Or if you're just going to be staying in that new place forever, then that is that problem for you sorted out. Number 4. When you come back, you feel like a stranger. If you do ever decide to come back to the place that you originally came from, this is what I found to be one of the hardest things, because I noticed that I felt like a stranger in my own home. When you go away, all of those things that I just shared with you, they are going to form you into a new person. You are not going to be the same that you were when you left. And quite often people don't really get how different you are, because how could they if they haven't gone through those exact same things than you did? So I really felt like I didn't fit in for quite a while in Germany, and to be honest, sometimes I still feel like that. When you're in a country that has different ideas and different values and different things that matter to them, and those things start to become who you are as well, and they start to matter to you, but then you come back to a different culture and things are just different, and you're trying to put your way of living onto them, it clashes a little bit. And you realize how this new persona that you have developed and grown into is not really right for the place that you are coming back to. But now, about 3 years later, I'm slowly getting back into feeling like it's my home again. Let's get to a really important question and to the reason of why you are watching this video. Would I do it again? I thought about this question a lot when I did the script for this video, and even then it brought tears to my eyes every single time. Honestly, if I had known that my mom was gonna pass away, no, I probably wouldn't have done it. But the thing is that we don't know those things, and we shouldn't assume either, because my mom passed away 20 to 30 years before she was meant to. So realistically, it could have gone very differently if I had come back now. So this makes it a little bit difficult to compare and to also answer this question for you. Because on the other side, Without moving away, I definitely would not be the person that I am today. And that is why I'm so incredibly glad that I did do it and that I did spend all this time abroad. And I probably wouldn't even be recording this video if it wasn't for my time away. So what I would personally do if I could turn time back is to go away for a few years, but then come back home. Because there are so many benefits to moving abroad, but at the end of the day, what matters most is your family. If you perhaps are not close to them at all, then I would definitely say just go and stay there. But if you are somebody who cares a lot for their family, then I can really recommend you to come back at some point and to still gain some of those memories with them. Because I can honestly say to you that one of the only regrets that I ever have in my life is to have not gained more memories with my mom. That is the only thing that I'm ever going to look back to and think, I wish I had done that differently. So if I can give you some advice, then it is to go away, enjoy yourself, find out who you really are and what it is that you want to do, and then come back and be close to the people that matter most in your life.